Lively going.
Wait a minute now.
Going live, lively going.
Good evening, YouTube. We are live, and if you want to come and join
Lively
us,
going.
we we can you can head over to AI lead generation automation.com. It takes you straight there. We're sorting out a new domain for, or you can go to school and search for DFY Moneymakers, which is the new brand for our stuff. Let's let Barry into the room. I know others will come in as we go along, and we're going to talk about citations tonight. So that's going to be super exciting. Good evening, Barry. Welcome to the
Hi
room.
guys, you okay?
Good to see you. Yeah, doing well.
Good, good. Hi Robert.
How are you, Mr. Barry? You feeling okay?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Enjoying
Just
some sunshine on our 2-day summer.
back
That's the
to
only time. It's the only time they open the open top cars, isn't it, for 2 days?
Certainly is. Absolutely.
see, we only get cool weather for 3 days.
Oh dear.
That's all
Oh,
we get.
wonderful.
Our winter is 3 days.
3 days, right. No, when we go on holiday, last time we went away for a week, it only rained twice. Once for 3 days and once for five.
Well, we're going to start talking more about the uh, power washing website that we're building, which for those that have been following us for a while, had seen the accountability program, and we're still doing the same thing that's in that content, and nothing really has changed drastically since that content was produced, and we have been doing that. It's got to be almost 2 years ago already. Unfortunately, I had a lot happen this week and I couldn't do as much as I wanted to, but I'll share my screen real quick and just come back to why we're doing the process the way that we're doing it. And if you see my screen incognito here, we're looking at pressurewashingwellington.com. And the importance of this is for you to see that this site was built, we've added content, we did the service linking pages, but we had not submitted it to the Google Search Console yet. And we have not done as many citations as we would like to have done in this week, but some pressing things happened in my life, so I just couldn't work on it. But that being said, the website has been the pages that have been added to the website have been fully indexed by Google without requesting it, without asking. So these are the pages that are service pages and regular pages. They're all indexed. And what you're going to start to see now is as we add in our social media and as we add in our citations in the next week or two, the social media starts picking up the link. See, we did the website URL in quotes for what's the word, Stephen? I can't think. Not broad match, not the exact match, but I can't think of the other word. Anyways, it came back with Facebook. It came back with YouTube. Those are the two social accounts that we've connected to this URL, and they're starting to pick up those as citations. And that's what we want to happen so that when we go and decide to add it to Search Console, to add it into a Google business listing, when they search it, they're going to find all of these accounts and other citations that we will build before we put it in the Search Console as proof that this website exists. This website is connected to this NAP, name, address, and phone number that we're going to be putting on the site itself. For those that haven't seen it yet, we'll go back and just look at the front of the site. So we have a phone number that is a Twilio number that's redirecting to a cell phone. But the site itself is the basic site with content about pressure washing, the services pages that are all interconnected to each page. And then we have usually, I think I passed it already. Do that every time. We did a accordion to make the site look a little bit fresher, if you will. So it didn't have so much content that you had to read. But those that want to read it can come in here and read the content that we put in here about the pressure cleaning. And then every service page has the same type of content that we added it in there. And then it was about the service itself. In addition, we tried to do an authority backlink out of the content to an authority site of the local area. So Wellington, let's see if you can see that in the bottom, wellingtonflorida.gov is the city local site that has a lot of content about the stuff going on in Wellington. So rather than going to Wikipedia, which we could have done, going to YouTube, going somewhere else, we're staying local. Because I believe, and I think that it's proving to be more and more true, that the local areas are going to rank better for the local authorities and the stuff that's right there in that township. So if you're going to do a service website, do content about the service, but do content that includes information about the local area. And we haven't finished building the site, but I'm just kind of recapping from where we were last week. So we say health issues because we're talking about allergies and asthma when people aren't cleaning their properties. They have a lot of mold outside, and it affects people with allergies and asthma. So it's a health guide which takes you into the Wellington.gov website that they can then research more information on this site. But the idea of it is just to have the outbound authority link to the local authority from your website. And we did that on all the service pages. So I'll just repeat myself in that all of these pages are already indexed without being asked because we put enough content, we did the outbound links, and now we're starting to build the citations through YouTube, through Facebook, which are major citations. And we'll continue forward with those as well as doing other citations that are local, city local citations that will tell Google when we're ready, these guys are here. They live at this address, at this NAP, name, address, and phone number. And this is their stuff. And when they see all this as proof, it's a lot easier to get your listing ranked and you have less trouble with the listing because you're proving ahead of time before you even ask for it. So Stephen is going to address us about some citations and how he does some things that are, I know they're killer secrets, but they're really helpful when it comes down to getting citations done in another way. And by the way, you don't want to go to Fiverr and spend $5 and pay for 50,000 citations because they're not going to be real. They're going to be bots. They're going to get you in trouble. You can do a lot more ranking with less citations if they're drilled down into the local area and they're in to the sites that people would go to. And Stephen, you take it from here.
Absolutely. Right. So on my screen now, I've got my usual way of doing citations. So the first thing I did is I did a search for pressure washing Wellington, Florida, and I found the first company in the list and got their URL, and I put it in quotes minus any slashes or HTTPs. And then in here, as we come down, we can see all the pages that they're using. Now, this is super useful, by the way, because now I know I can create a page, right? So, for example, RHI pressure washing, I can now do Wellington pressure washing instead, right? Like if we did window cleaning, I can take this here, take that headline and put it on a page, but change RHI to Wellington. And I can work through like tips and tricks. I can copy their tips and tricks, rewrite it, and put it on my own page, for an example. So we've got these ideas. Now, if I come to number 2 on Google, I've got Facebook. This is a citation. So I'll set a Facebook page up. Instagram. Let's come down and see what else we've got here. Let's keep searching. TikTok. Yelp. So you get the idea of finding the matching citations. You make a list of these, and then you do the same for the next search version of pressure washing Wellington. So we do a search now for Wellington, Florida. So this one was the first one. Now we want Martin soft wash. So we can copy the URL, go to Google again, paste it in, do the quotes. And once again, now we've got this company here. We've got some headline pages we can use, soft washing, pressure washing. And then we've got Facebook, Instagram. Let's come down, Yelp. Right, so you're getting the idea of matching these up. And I do the top 3 domain names on a Google search in the first place. So it'll be that one, and that one. And I'll get all this, I'll get all the citations up to, I normally do about 10 maximum. And I'll go, right, these 3 sites are all on Facebook. These 3 sites are all on Instagram. These 3 sites are on Twitter. But guess what? 2 of them are only on TikTok, or one's only on YouTube. If I match all those citations across those 3 sites, I'm going to have a pretty good chance of outranking them on Google. Also, I'm messing around with the Deep Agent version of Chat GPT. Well, it's Abacus AI. And so it's found the top 3 companies here. So if I grab this data in here and say, for these sites, please give me the media sites they on. So it found me. I did an initial, told it to do a search for pressure washing Wellington, and it's come back with the top 3 companies here that it's recommended. And we're now going to see if it's going to do this. This takes a little while to run, and then it's going to come back in a moment or two, hopefully, fingers crossed, with a list of citations. This is the first time I'm running this. May have to play around with the prompt a little bit. But what's great is as we match them on the sites they are on, and I only go for the free sites, by the way. So if I go to a site and it costs money, I'll say, do I really want it? If I do, then I will pay for it, but most likely I won't worry. And so it's just a case of searching and seeing if you can get a listing on those sites to match them all up.
So Steve, just to reiterate, we talked about this before. You're looking at your competition, and everybody that's already ranking as you're coming into your keyword term
Hmm.
your main keyword term for your site that you want to rank for. That's why you're building the site for that term.
Yeah.
But when you see all these different companies that either have all the same or all the same plus a couple different, right? You're writing them all down and you're going to go try to build citations on all of those because you already know they're at the top of the search. They're already ranking these 3 sites, 3 to 5 sites, right? So you're taking all those citations and reduplicating the process in a consistent form. But remember, you want to outrank them. So you want a little bit better than what they have. So you make the whole list of all of them, and even though one site has it and one site doesn't, you include it and you put the citation on it. You don't have to go and build citations for the rest of your life, but you want to build enough citations that you're going to put your foothold in outranking the companies that haven't done it yet. So that's the spiel on it, right? Plus, you're going to write great SEO based content. And like Steve said there, you look at each site, you look at the headlines, you look at the content that they're writing. And if it makes sense, I'm not saying steal their content. I'm saying look at the content, look at the titles, look at what they're doing and what they're talking about, and create your own version of it. And just to be that one little bit extra, special as far as Google goes, if they wrote 500 words, you write 750, you write 1,000, right? You always want to outdo your competition so that when Google sees more content about a particular keyword or topic, it wants to give you up as the authority versus somebody that didn't write enough content. And that still works today. Steven says it all the time. Content is king. Do it right. Do your SEO right, which again, we're in the beginning stages of this site. We built it, we created the service pages, we linked them all together. We haven't done images yet. We haven't done rank math yet. We're just getting citations going on this site before we even open up the listings or anything else. So we're slowly building as any normal company would, the website with the content, but we're looking at our competitors to get more ideas. And if they're offering uh, a service that you don't want to provide, then don't write content about it. You can put it in a blog post talking about the service, but you don't necessarily have to put it as a service page that your customer or yourself would want to provide. Let's say stucco repair, and you don't want to get into that. Talk about it. Tell them all the tips and tricks about stucco repair, but don't have a service page on your website saying I do stucco repair if you don't want to do it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get phone calls about stuff that you don't want to do as a business.
Absolutely. So it did a search for citations, and now it's showing me where these sites are on social media. So this company's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. This one's Facebook, and this one's LinkedIn. I think there's probably, I'll be honest with you, more than that on Google normal search. But on the citations list, we've got Yelp, Better Business Bureau, Nextdoor, Chamber of Commerce, Bits, Zapedia, Home Advisor, etc., Angie's List, Yelp. So you get the idea now that you can very quickly, using Deep Agent, get a lot of this information for you. And so I'm going to do a citation here, 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 and here. And then I'm going to have a look and say, well, they're not on Angie's list. So I'm going to see if I can get my site on Angie's list as well. Yelp, yeah, matches. Better Business Bureau matches. Let's have a look and see. That matches. Home Advisor. There's not one for Home Advisor. ISO is there. Okay. So that matches that. Yep, we've done. And LinkedIn is obviously part of the social media platforms, which we can get from here. but we can also still do it manually by searching for the company name. So in this case, just come back down and grab, let's have a look. Let's grab this one here, copy link address. It's a very weird URL, to be honest. Let's come back and find a better one. Let's use them. Copy link address. Quotes. So now we can come back down. So I know to create a Facebook page, Instagram page, Yellow Pages listing, and that's all this one's got. If you have a look, so think if you can match all of them and have better citations, how much more likely you're going to outrank this company when you're searching for pressure washing in Wellington. It's not SEO is not rocket science. It comes down to a good title and keywords on the page. If you look here as well, when we're searching for pressure washing, right, that part there is grayed out because it's using some of the information that we're looking for. So it's important to have pressure washing services in here, for example, and the location. And you'll find that as you build this up, and you have, I do it on a spreadsheet. So I'll do a list of social media channels and citations, and then I'll put the company name at the top. I'll put the company name, who's my competitor, at the top, and I'll go yes, no, on what sites they're on. And then the last tab will be in the Google Sheet, my site. And as I do them, I go yes, all the way down. And I find 10 to 15 citations is more than enough to outrank your competitor. You can keep going, do as many as you want. Just don't buy them off for $5 because they can damage your site. So hopefully that's fairly clear. But are there any questions from you guys? You're welcome to unmute and ask away if you want.
That sounds all straightforward and yeah, very good. That thanks, Steve. Great stuff.
It's something I've been doing for years, and it never seems to change. And you always outrank people, And they say, "Well, local business go, how do you outrank me?" There's one some years back. There's an SEO guy who ran a plumbing business, and I outranked him, and he didn't know how I did it. And literally, I copied all his citations. That's all it was, and then good content on the website. So
you both on the call have done citations, yes?
Yes, I did. Yeah, and I did a very similar thing. I looked at the competitor for my potato supplier guy, and I did something very similar to see what citations he had, what information he had, and then I sort of put more information on, which helped with the ranking. So yeah, same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really change, but I think what is slowly changing more and more is the constriction to the localized area for the service industry website. They're not going to rank for states and counties that are not close by. But if you're going to focus for a service-based business, they're going to stay in a certain area within so many miles of that area. And those pages and those cities will rank. And then if you add some content, sprinkle the content in about the authority local sites, the authority area, what am I looking for? Citations that are like city search, and even the it's interesting. The BBB, the Better Business Bureau in America, right? I think it's, last time I checked, over $600 a year to have their accreditation, right? Which means that you can put their logo on your website. And if your business is doing well, then it's well worth it to have that accreditation because people want to see that when they're calling you. People want to see good reviews when they're calling you, from Google. But at the end of the day, if you can't afford it, you can still get your listing on the BBB as a citation, but you can't put their symbol on your website without paying them for that right to do it. And you go on there, if the smart way to do the workaround is get your listing added to the directory, and then you get somebody that can give you a review on that listing. And it pushes you up in the citation on the Better Business Bureau because you got a review. But you can definitely get a listing from it. It'll backlink to your site, but you can't put from your site to them that you're listed on the Better Business Bureau without their paid authority version. But all those sites are getting more and more expensive. You don't need to do them all. And if your competitors are doing them all, then you have to make a business decision. Is it worth it or is it not? But I would definitely try to outrank them first with good content and more citations and build more content about the local area in addition to the niche content of that website that you're building. But these are things that we've been doing for years. It doesn't change. It still works. And having that site like listed, be indexed that quickly, it still goes to show the content is king. You guys put the site together, you build it right, Google picks it up. And I don't, however millions of sites are built every day, Google is still picking up the sites pretty quick for indexing.
Yeah, yeah, they are. Content is king, isn't it?
Well, it always seems to be. And, again, stay in the game, look at what everybody else is writing about. Just write it better and write it more.
Agreed. We're going to say goodnight to YouTube and chat inside the meeting. If you want to come and join us, you can head over to our school group and you'll find us. Go to school, do a search for DFY Moneymakers, and we've got lots of more info coming up over the coming weeks. And thanks for all the kind messages of my health. I'm doing well, and I'm going to update people on the private call. So good night to YouTube.
Good night, everybody.